If you're hearing this, then you've survived, at least for now. But if this signal reached you, if you're hearing my voice, then maybe you're still out there, still breathing, still fighting to see the next sunrise. This is Doomcast. Not a warning, not a guide, not some military broadcast filled with codes and orders, just a voice, a survivor, talking into the static, hoping someone answers. The world didn't fall in a single night. It fell in pieces, one scream at a time, one block, one city, one body at a time, until the noise turned into silence and the living started hiding from the dead. They said it would blow over. That help was coming. That someone, somewhere, had a plan. But the truth is, we didn't run out of time. We just ran out of chances. People ran, barricaded their doors with furniture and hope. They wrote notes on windows, prayed someone would come back. Some waited too long. Some didn't wait long enough. I still remember a house I passed, curtains fluttering through a cracked window. On the glass, written in marker, "We have a baby." The door was open. No one answered. Now the roads are empty, the houses are quiet, and the ones still walking, they're not walking for the same reasons anymore. I've seen children with blank eyes. I've seen families holding each other, even after they'd turned. And I've seen people do things to survive that, well, they don't talk about those things over the radio. There was a man I met once, months ago now. He carried an empty leash. Said his dog was still out there somewhere. He called her name every night before bed. Said it helped him sleep. He wasn't crazy. He was just remembering. Maybe you've got someone with you, or maybe you lost everyone. Some people were lucky. Some were smart. Some were just fast. And some, like me, just kept going. Even when there wasn't a reason anymore. Me? I wasn't any of those. I was just awake. Awake when they broke through the fences. When the screaming started. When the first one didn't stay dead. I ran. That's all I did. Ran, hid, found a place, lost it, moved on, over and over. But at some point, I found this old transmitter, wired it together with pieces from a wrecked RV, a ham radio, and a miracle. And I started talking. Funny how something as small as a signal can keep you tethered, even if you're not sure to what. I guess I wanted to believe someone was out there, that I wasn't the last one. And if you're still here, if you're still listening, then I was right. The ones out there, the dead, they don't stop. They don't sleep. They don't care who you were, what you did, what you loved. They just want to feed. And sometimes, they don't come alone. You'll hear them before you see them, but it's the ones you don't hear you should worry about. Stay quiet. Stay sharp. Don't let your guard down. Trust your gut more than your maps. And if it smells wrong, it probably is. I can't offer you much. No safe zones, no extraction teams, no cure. But sometimes, you don't need a rescue. You just need to know someone else made it through the day. But I can offer you this, a voice, a reminder, that somewhere in all this rot and ruin, someone is still trying, still remembering what it felt like to be human. So eat if you can, Sleep with one eye open, and don't let the darkness get inside your head. That's how it starts. They say we become what we fear, but I think we become what we forget. Don't forget who you are. I don't know where you are. Could be a rooftop in a dead city. Could be miles into the forest where they don't roam as thick. Or maybe you're holed up in some gas station with a battery-powered radio and just enough food to last 3 more days. Wherever you are, keep one exit clear and never sleep where you eat. This is Doomcast, a signal from a stranger with a microphone and a heartbeat. And if you're hearing this, you've got one too. You're not alone. Not yet. I stayed in that station until sunrise. Didn't sleep. Didn't speak. The mic was off. But I swear I heard something breathing in the next room. I waited it out, back against the wall, shotgun in my lap, staring at the blinking on-air light like it might start blinking back. The sun came up, slow and gray, casting the room in this weird half-light. That's when I saw it. Something I'd missed. Tucked inside the broadcast cabinet. Not in the player, behind it. A tape. Unlabeled. Cracked along the edge like someone had tried to break it, then thought better of it. Dust covered most of it, except for the center. Like it had been picked up recently. Held. I thought maybe it was just another backup reel. Some old interview, or a music show, or maybe even dead air. But something about it felt wrong. So I cleaned it off, slotted it into the backup deck, and I pressed play. There was no voice, no music, just sound, repeating every 30 seconds like clockwork. Footsteps. Slow, steady, wet. Not boots, bare feet. Dragging. Like someone walking down a tile hallway that had been flooded, the water sloshing gently with every step. I sat frozen. The hairs on my arms were standing straight up, and I wasn't cold. The station felt off, like the walls were listening, like the tape wasn't just sound, it was a memory, or worse, a message. The footsteps continued, again and again. Each loop felt closer, like they were walking toward the mic. And then, just when I thought the tape had ended, it broke the pattern. The static dipped. The air shifted, and buried beneath the noise, right at the end, was a whisper. One word. Clear. Sharp. Like it had been said just inches from my ear. My name. Not a guess. Not a mistake. Not a coincidence. I never told it to the mic. I stood there staring at the player, waiting for it to rewind, for it to end, for something to happen. But it didn't. It just clicked off, like it had done what it was meant to do. I left the station an hour later, didn't take the tape, didn't touch the console, just walked, didn't look back. This is Doomcast, and if you're listening, keep listening. Because out here, the dead are loud, but it's the ones who know your name that you should be afraid of. There's a rest stop off Highway 77. No sign, no lights, no name. You'd miss it if you didn't already know it was there. The kind built for long-haul truckers, 2 vending machines, 3 bathrooms, and a concrete bench bolted to the floor. I stopped there yesterday. Not because I needed rest, because I saw something written on the wall. I almost didn't go in. The glass door was cracked, but closed. The air inside was warm, too warm, like someone had only just left. Most of the stalls were empty, but in the far corner, one had its door tied shut with shoelaces. Not locked. Tied, and scribbled across the inside walls, not spray paint, not marker, pen. Blue ballpoint. I found a torn notebook on the counter, water-stained. Smelled like soap and gasoline. No name, no date. Just a single note, scrawled across the top in all caps. Read this if you're still human. I'm going to read it now. Whoever wrote this, I don't know if they made it, but they had something to say. Let me read it for you. Day 6, I think. The sun's come up 3 times since I got here, so I'm guessing 6. I don't have a watch anymore. Just this pen, what's left of this notebook, and a bag of crackers that expired before I did. There were 2 of us when we got here, me and Anthony. He said this place was too quiet to be bad. I didn't argue. We locked the doors, checked the back exits, and tried to rest. The first night was fine. The second, we heard knocking from inside one of the stalls. Not banging, just polite. Like someone was waiting their turn. We waited it out. Didn't check. Didn't speak. In the morning, the stall was still closed, and the knocking was gone. Anthony checked it anyway. Tied the door shut with his bootlaces first. Smart move. He opened it just an inch, slammed it shut, didn't say a word. After that, he stopped eating, stopped sleeping. I kept asking what he saw. He just kept whispering the same thing. It didn't blink. On day 5, I woke up to find the stall open. Empty. Bootlaces on the floor. Anthony was gone. So was the pen. I found it again this morning, right here on the sink. Like someone wanted me to finish the story. So that's what I'm doing. If you're reading this, don't open the stall. Don't knock back. And if someone's inside, just let them be. I checked the stall. It was empty. But the mirror above the sink had handprints on it, smudged and dripping, like they'd been made just minutes before I walked in. There's no one here now, just the smell of old soap and fear. This is Doomcast. If you're resting anywhere tonight, lock the doors, keep the lights low, and don't answer unless you know the voice. The fog rolled in, just past mile marker 219. Thick, heavy. The kind of fog that doesn't just hide the world, it erases it. It crawled low, clinging to the ground like smoke that forgot how to rise. I don't usually walk in weather like that. Visibility drops, and you start second-guessing everything. Your steps, your memory, what's behind you, what you thought was never in front of you. But I'd been on the road for 3 days straight, and something about the silence made me trust it more than I should have. No birds, no wind, no moaning in the distance. Just fog. I was heading northeast, toward an old fuel depot that was probably already picked clean. But I'd found a battery pack there once, still sealed in plastic. It kept Doomcast alive for another month. Felt like a sign back then. Now it feels like routine and pretending to be purpose. The air was cold, winter cold. The kind that stings your fingers before you even notice you've taken your gloves off. Which I had. I stopped. Re-gloved. Looked around. I don't know when it started to feel wrong. Could have been the moment I realized I could only see about 10 feet in any direction. Could have been the moment I realized I couldn't hear my own footsteps anymore. Then I saw it. A shape. Just barely visible in the haze ahead. Human-shaped. Still. My first thought was infected. But infected don't stay still. They wander, they twitch, they listen. This one was just standing. I called out. Quiet, controlled. Didn't want to make a scene. Hey. No answer. No shift in posture. Just a presence, like fog that had decided to stay. I raised the barrel of my rifle, not out of fear, just instinct. Took a slow step forward, then another. And then it turned. But not toward me. It turned its head toward the trees, like it heard something I couldn't, and walked. Away. Not fast. Not hurried. Like it knew exactly where it was going. I almost followed. Almost. Then I saw them. 3 more. Figures moving quickly behind where it had stood. Fast. Too fast. I dropped. Fell flat against the cold asphalt. Held my breath. The fog moved around me. Didn't lift. Didn't part. It just absorbed the sound of boots. Moving. Then stopping. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Waited until the silence was real again. Not imagined. When I stood up, they were gone. The road was empty. No prints. No sound. Just me in the fog. I kept walking after that. Didn't stop until sunset. Didn't look back. Didn't breathe easy until I saw the outline of a crashed semi and used it to sleep behind. Fog makes you think differently. Not just about danger. About memory. About what you think you saw, and what your brain fills in when you're tired enough. I don't know who those figures were. Could have been survivors. Could have been infected. Could have been worse. The kind of people who've learned how to use fog as cover. People ask me if I'm ever afraid of being alone out here. I tell them no. It's the moments I think I'm not alone that scare me. This is Doomcast. If you're traveling in fog, slow down. Don't rush to meet what's ahead. Sometimes, it's better to let the unknown pass you by. And if you see someone standing in the road, don't follow them. I found the van outside a grocery store that hadn't been looted yet. That's rare. Too rare. No broken windows, no busted doors. No carts, left mid-aisle, like someone ran when they heard the first scream. It just sat there, dusty, quiet, frozen in time. The parking lot was covered in frost. Tire tracks led in, but not out. And the van, dark green, maybe blue, was parked dead center in the lot. Like it had been left there on purpose. I almost walked past it, but something about it felt off. It was locked, all 4 doors, even the back. That's what caught my attention. Because no one locks anything anymore, not out here. You either take what you need, or you leave it. And if you're still around, you don't waste time with locks. I circled it once. Windows fogged from the inside. Too fogged. like someone had been breathing in there recently. But I didn't see anyone. No movement, no shadows, just that still, sealed feeling, like a moment that hadn't finished yet. I knocked. Once. Out of habit. No response, but something shifted inside. A small creak, metal on metal. Then silence again. I stepped back, waited. Nothing. I thought about breaking the window, just to see. But I didn't. Maybe it was the cold. Maybe it was the feeling that if I did, whatever was inside wouldn't be. There was something written in the frost on the rear window. I didn't notice it until I was about to leave. 3 words, smudged from the inside, traced by a finger. Waited too long. I scraped it gently with my glove, tried to see through. But the window was blacked out. Something was covering it from inside. I circled back one more time, slower this time, looking for signs, a smell, a sound, anything. There was a trail behind the van, half-covered footsteps, leading toward the store. But they stopped halfway, just vanished. Not faded, not snowed over, gone. Like the person walking just stopped existing. I didn't go inside the van, didn't force the lock. Some doors are better left shut. Some questions don't need answers, not in this world. I left it there, exactly how I found it. Dusty, quiet, waiting. This is Doomcast. If you find something that feels wrong, it probably is. Take what you need, keep moving, and don't waste time on what's already gone. It's been a week since I turned the signal back on. 7 days, 5 places, and more questions than answers. Some days I wonder if speaking into this mic makes me feel more alone or less. But either way, I keep talking. That first night, I watched a tape from a college radio station. Heard a woman named Casey give her last broadcast. And then, something else. A voice, not hers. One I can't explain. Still thinking about that. Then I found the rest stop. The one off Highway 77. Quiet, clean, too clean. And inside, a journal. One of those, read this if you're still human kinds. You find enough of them. You start to realize how many people were hoping someone, anyone, would still be listening. That was the first time I smelled soap and didn't trust it. Then came the fog. I walked through it, alone, I think. Saw a figure standing still in the road. Watched it turn and walk away. 3 others followed behind it. Fast. Too fast. I didn't chase them. Not then. But I've started thinking maybe I should. The world is full of strange things now. Not monsters, not magic. Just moments. Ones that don't quite make sense. Ones that don't match the rest of the map. And this week, I've decided I might start following those. See what's out there. See if the patterns mean something. Or if I'm just trying to feel like I'm not going crazy. Yesterday, I found a van. Locked. Alone in a frosted parking lot. No prints. No exit. Just fogged windows and 3 words written on the glass. Waited too long. I didn't break in. Didn't need to. Whatever was in there, if anything, wasn't meant for me. But maybe someone else will find it. And maybe they'll understand more than I did. Now that the signal's steady, I figured I'd do something I haven't done since before the fall. Share what I've learned. Not about ghosts, Not about signs, just about staying alive. So here's how you survive this week in the dust. First, food. Canned is king. If it hisses, toss it. If it bulges, toss it. Don't take chances. Don't eat anything with rust near the seam. No matter how hungry you are, it's not worth dying with a full stomach. Peanut butter lasts forever. So does honey. Salted nuts. Protein bars from gyms and vending machines. If it smells sweet when it shouldn't, don't taste it. And if you find anything with a label in a language you don't read, assume someone else passed on it for a reason. Try to carry 3 days' worth. No more. Weight will kill you before starvation does. Second, water. Boil everything, even rain, even melted snow. If you can, use 2 containers, one for collection, one for boiling. Aluminum pots are light, dentable, and don't hold heat too long. Don't trust bottled water if the seal's broken, especially if it tastes like copper or bleach. Never drink from lakes unless you've seen the whole shoreline. If it's too still, don't trust it. Snow can be safe, but only fresh snow. Not the slush in gutters, not the stuff near tire tracks. Avoid old pipes and anything that smells clean, because nothing is clean anymore, especially if it smells like it is. Third, sleep. The infected don't sleep, but you still have to. Sleep high, sleep hidden, sleep cold if you have to, but never sleep exposed. Stay off floors unless you've tested them for rot or squeak. Don't sleep near windows unless you're ready to move before your eyes open. Use furniture as walls. Make a nest, not a bed. Comfort gets you soft. Soft gets you killed. Set alarms if you can. If you can't, train your bladder. Drink before you rest, so nature wakes you early. Never stay in one place more than 2 nights, even if it feels safe, especially if it feels safe. Fourth, movement. Avoid patterns. Never take the same route twice in a row. Skip main roads when you can, and never assume an empty street is clear. It just means something cleared it. Listen to your body. Fatigue makes mistakes. Hunger makes you reckless. Loneliness makes you dumb. Fifth, people. The good ones are still out there, but the bad ones are hungrier than the dead. Trust slow. Speak less. Observe always. Anyone who doesn't blink, asks no questions, or offers too much too fast, leave. And never stay anywhere someone else built unless you can see every exit. Most of survival isn't fighting. It's noticing, reacting, choosing not to be noticed. Some days you'll feel like you're only alive because you're not interesting enough to kill. That's okay. Stay boring, stay small, stay invisible. You only need to survive long enough for one thing: tomorrow. That's all this is, a slow collection of tomorrows. This is Doomcast. I'm still here, still walking, still chasing the things I don't understand. And if you are too, maybe we'll find something worth saving. I'll talk to you next time. I wasn't going to talk about this, but the signal's clear tonight, and the silence feels heavier than usual. If you've been listening for a while, you know I've been out here alone. But I wasn't always. I had a daughter. Her name was Miriam. And a wife, ex-wife, technically, Anna. We weren't together when the world fell apart. But that didn't matter anymore. All the paperwork, the court dates, the months we didn't talk. None of it meant anything when the screaming started. We got lucky in the beginning. We found each other fast. I think Anna was already heading toward the school when the alerts went out. Miriam had just turned 8. She still carried that blue Captain Marvel backpack everywhere, even when it was falling apart. Even when it got soaked in the rain and the zipper snapped off. She said the bag made her feel ready to go save something. I never asked what. We left the city while we could, stayed off the highways, kept moving. We made it as far as a town called Deerhaven. Tiny place, one diner, a gas station, a motel with maybe 6 rooms. The kind where the carpet crunches when you step on it. We thought it'd be safe. It was quiet. Too quiet. I went into town to look for food. Just for an hour. Told Anna to stay put. Keep Miriam inside. Said I'd be back before sunset. When I came back, the motel room was still locked. Nothing broken. Nothing burned. Just empty. The door key was sitting on the pillow, and Miriam's comic book was open on the bed. The page where the hero's flying off into the clouds, smiling. No sign of struggle, no blood, no footprints. Just gone. I waited there 3 days, slept in the same room, called their names into the radio, into the trees, into the dark. Nothing. I don't know if someone took them, if they ran, if they thought I wasn't coming back, if they're still alive. But if anyone's listening, if you passed through Deerhaven after everything fell, and you saw a woman named Anna, dark hair, strong voice, always looked like she was about to argue with God himself, and a little girl named Miriam, 8 years old, curly brown hair, carried herself like she had somewhere important to be, even when it was just to the vending machine. If you saw them, please tell me, even if it's bad news, especially if it's bad news. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, maybe I'm giving too much away, but if they're still out there, I don't care. Anna, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry for not staying, for not being there when it counted, for everything. And Miriam, if somehow you're out there, if someone's keeping you safe, I hope you're still lining up your stuffed animals every morning, giving them orders, making them promise to protect each other. Because that's what I'm trying to do too. This is Doomcast. I don't care if you know my name, but if you know theirs, I'll be listening. The rain's falling now. Not heavy. Just enough to make everything sound farther away. I'm gonna step out for a bit. Find something warm to eat. I'll be back soon. Don't go far. When I saw the sticker on that flashlight, half peeled, barely hanging on, I didn't believe it at first. Property of Channel 14. It didn't mean anything to me right away, but the more I stared at it, the more I knew it wasn't a coincidence. 2 kids don't end up in a storm drain with a government-issued flashlight by accident. So I went looking. Old maps don't help anymore, but radio logs, scattered papers, utility schematics, they still exist if you know where to dig. There used to be a repeater tower out near mile 63, east of the ridge, just past a collapsed tunnel. No one uses it now. At least, no one should. It took me a day to get there. I moved fast, didn't sleep much. Too many questions. The site was abandoned, on the surface at least. 1 rusted tower, 1 access shack, and behind the shack, a hatch set into the ground. Unlocked. Inside, stairs, cold metal, and the smell of dust and burnt wires. I counted 15 steps down. Then I heard it. A low hum. Not mechanical, not electric, just broadcast bleed. Like a radio caught between stations, but steadier. In the control room, everything was dead. No power, no computers, no light. But on the far wall, tacked to an old corkboard, were files, logs, and 1 page torn and thumbtacked near the top. Subject 09, Lila. Subject 02, June. Next to each name, initial containment, green. Behavioral compliance, yellow. Final status, unknown. There was a list of dates. Last one was circled in red. 5 days before the first outbreak alert. I didn't understand all of it. Still don't. But under the list, someone had scribbled a note in pen. Too young. Too quiet. Don't send them back. There was no signature. I searched the drawers, found nothing but an old headset. Plugged it in, and for a second, just 1 second, I heard something. Not a voice, not a message, just breathing. 2 sets, in sync. Faint, then static, then nothing. I stayed an hour, wrote down everything, didn't touch anything else. On my way out, I saw 1 more note scrawled into the inside of the steel hatch door. Almost invisible. They watched. They remembered. But they never spoke. This is Doomcast. If Channel 14 is still broadcasting, I don't think it's meant for us. And if Lila and June were part of it, then I don't think they ever had a chance. If you hear something between the stations, don't tune in. Some signals aren't meant to be found. After Channel 14, after what I found in that bunker, I needed a day to stop thinking about signals and start thinking about silence. The first thing to go isn't always food, or water, or bullets. It's your sense of normal. Some people lose it quietly. Others try to hold it together until one day they just stop trying. I've seen strong people break because they didn't know what to do with silence. With hours that stretched too long, with no one left to laugh at their jokes or finish their sentences. That's where the quiet games come in. Not for fun, not for tradition, just to stay human. So if you're listening, and you've got a little time between the running, the rationing, the fear, here's what I've learned. These aren't games you play with dice or rules. No winners, No points, just patterns, distractions, rituals that remind you you're not just surviving, you're still thinking. Your first game is called Shadow Check. Sit with your back to a wall. Stare at the shadows. Count how many move that shouldn't. The goal is 0. Next is alphabet memory. Pick a category. Animals, tools, names. Run through the alphabet in your head. If you can't think of one for a letter, you owe yourself a sip of water, or you take next night's watch. This one called Object Scout. Before sleeping, everyone picks one thing that feels out of place. Could be a door that's too clean, a drawer that's half open. You point it out. No prize, just sharper instincts. Listen before bed. Wind, birds, branches. If you hear 5, you can rest. If you hear none, don't. Next is story chain. If you're lucky enough to have company, start a sentence. Let the next person add one, and so on. Keep going until it becomes something ridiculous, or painful, or strangely beautiful. I've heard survivors build entire worlds around a single sentence. Sleep isn't rest anymore. It's calculation. Sleep high, rooftops, attics, metal shelving units, if you trust them. The ground doesn't forgive. Use furniture as walls or stacked chairs, a flipped table. Even a broken vending machine makes a good barrier if it keeps your silhouette hidden. Leave one boot off. Tuck it into your bag. If you have to run, you'll only lose one. Train your body to wake up. Drink water before bed. Let your bladder act as your alarm. Know your first 3 steps. Before your eyes close, plan your exit. Even if you never need it, especially if you do. Sleep. Head to foot with a partner. That way, if they bolt, you'll feel it. And if you ever wake up to silence that feels too silent, get moving. Some things I've picked up on the road don't fit into any category, but they're worth knowing. Glow sticks over flashlights. Dimmer. No batteries. Leave a trail behind you. Don't go back unless you see green. Chew. Something when you panic. It tells your body, this isn't death, this is digestion, even if it's just rubber or plastic. Thank the rooms that saved you. Write on a wall. Carve your initials. Leave a small drawing, something to mark that you were there and that it helped. Whistle twice before entering a basement. Not for the dead, for the living. The ones who don't answer are the ones you worry about. Count your steps. Every 100 yards. Not to track distance. To keep your brain from drifting somewhere it shouldn't go. The infected don't play games. They don't sleep, don't laugh, don't wonder. We do. So even if it's quiet, even if it's cold and the world's falling apart in pieces, make up your own rules. Give yourself a reason to keep thinking. Keep imagining. Keep remembering what it meant to have fun. Even if just for 5 minutes. Because if you lose that, you're not surviving. You're just delaying. This is Doomcast. Still here. Still breathing. Still playing. There's a post office outside Marlow Ridge. One of those squat, square buildings made of stone and stubbornness, with windows too small to see out of and doors too heavy to break. The kind built to outlast a snowstorm, not the end of the world. Most of the town is gone. Fire took half the homes, rot took the rest. But the post office still stands, still locked until yesterday. I was looking for shelter. The sun was dropping, the cold was creeping in, and the wind was bringing something behind it. I didn't expect to find anything inside. Maybe a few cans, a working radio if I was lucky. But in the back, behind the sorting cages and fallen ceiling tiles, was a single wooden crate, canvas draped, corner stamped, and labeled, "Delayed Outbound, October 4th. That was 4 days before the first alert, before the broadcasts, before everything stopped. Inside the crate, letters, hundreds, stamped, sealed, never sent, some in envelopes, some tied in bundles with twine, all headed somewhere, nowhere. I sat on the floor, back against the wall, and I started reading. A woman in Utah wrote to her sister in Kansas, telling her she was pregnant, but didn't want to say it over the phone. Said she wanted her to open it on Thanksgiving morning. She included a photo, 2 shadows holding hands in front of a sonogram. An older man from Oregon wrote to a son he hadn't spoken to in 5 years. The letter was short, just 5 lines. All it said was, "If you're angry, I understand. If you're happy, I'm glad. If you're lost, I'll wait. If this reaches you too late, I'm sorry for everything." Another envelope had no return address, just a heart drawn in the corner. Inside was a single line. "I still forgive you. I just wish I didn't have to." There was one from a teacher to her former student, thanking them for showing up to school every day, even when their shoes didn't fit. She included a bookstore gift card, expired now, and wrote, "One day you'll write something better than anything in this building." A child in Atlanta sent a letter to Santa. They asked for a hug for their mom. Said, "You can skip me this year. Just let her smile." And one envelope was addressed to me. No name, just, "To the one still talking. To the voice on the road." Inside was a single sheet of notebook paper, neat handwriting, a little shaky. "I don't know if you're real. I don't know if anyone is. But I heard you once. A voice between the static, low and calm. You didn't beg. You didn't preach. You just sounded alive. If you're out there, I left the light on in room 207. It's at the edge of a place called South Bell Inn, the one with the lighthouse logo on the sign. If you ever need it, it's yours." There was no name, no date, just a hand-drawn sketch of a key card and a lighthouse circled twice. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if they're still out there. But I know this. They believed someone might still be listening, and they didn't ask for help. They offered it. It's the only letter I kept. I packed up the rest, covered the crate, and locked the post office behind me. I don't know if anyone else will ever find it, but I hope they do. Hope they sit down, tear open an envelope, and remember that once we were people who left messages for each other even when we didn't know who'd answer. This is Doomcast. If you hear this, and you were the one who wrote that letter, thank you. I'm still out here, still walking, still listening. And if I ever find room 207 with the light still on, I'll leave the door open, just in case. There's a point where the highway stops pretending to be a road and becomes a suggestion, where the trees press in too close and the sky starts to vanish behind the branches. That's where I found the trail. No signs, no tire marks, just a gap in the trees where something used to move. I followed it for hours. Upward, through ferns, wet stone, and the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, just reserved. Eventually I saw it, a fire tower. Steel legs rusted at the joints, stairs spiraling up into the canopy. The kind of place meant for watching wildfires, not surviving them. It should have collapsed by now, but it hadn't. So I climbed. Every step groaned beneath me, but the structure held. When I reached the top, I found the hatch half open, and inside, someone had been here. There was a bedroll, half packed, MRE wrappers scattered around the corner, 2 empty coffee tins stacked beside the window, a pair of binoculars still sitting on the sill, pointed west. There was no blood, no signs of a struggle, just absence. Whoever stayed here left in a hurry, but not in panic. More like they knew they were being followed and didn't want to leave too much behind, which makes what they did leave feel deliberate. There was a map, pinned to the corkboard with a fishing hook, torn from a ranger's field guide, but hand-marked. 6 old relay sites circled in red, all familiar except one. I saw Channel 14. I saw the tower I visited 3 weeks ago, the one with the broken stairs, and I saw a new label. The vault. No coordinates, just a red arrow, and 2 words scribbled underneath. Buried clean. There was something else, too. Taped to the side of the cabinet. A Polaroid. 2 people standing in front of this same fire tower. One with a backpack and a radio slung over his chest. The other, blurred. Like someone had smeared the photo after it printed, intentionally. On the back, a note. No more broadcasts. Keep moving. I stayed for a while. Checked the logs. There was no journal. No name. But one thing kept bothering me. The coffee tins were still warm. The fire in the stove, recently burned out. Whoever was here, they're not far. And if they marked the vault, they might be heading there now. This is Doomcast. Still breathing. Still asking questions I probably shouldn't. If you're the one who left the photo, if you're listening, I'm following your trail. Not because I want to expose you, but because I think you're the only one who knows what's coming next. I stayed the night in the tower. Didn't sleep much. Something about the air up here feels thinner. Like it's holding a breath it never releases. I went through the drawers this morning. Found a tape player. Battery powered. Still working. And 1 cassette. Plain label. No name. Just 3 words, handwritten in marker. Play at night. I don't know who left it, or why. But if you're still with me, we're going to hear it together.
I don't know what this is. I don't know how many days it's been. I think I'm the last one up here. Saw the others head south last week. Said the relay down in Kestrel Hollow was still sending pulses. I didn't go. Didn't trust the roads. Didn't trust the people. Didn't trust the silence either. It's been following me. I hear things when I'm not talking. That's why I keep talking. That's why this tape exists. So there's sound. So I don't forget what voices sound like. I saw the van again. Same writing. Waited too long. Still no one inside. Engine cold. Door open. Radio blinking. Passed through exit 17, but only from a distance. Didn't stop. Didn't look. I know better. If you're hearing this, then maybe someone made it past the towers. If you find the old ranger map, look for the one marked vault. It's real, but it's not safe. And if you see twins, don't talk to them. They won't answer. Just walk, and don't look back. If you hear your name, it's not me.
That wasn't a broadcast. That was a confession. Someone scared out of their mind, speaking into the dark just to remember they were still alive. And maybe they weren't. Not when the tape was found. Not now. But what they said, it's not the first time I've heard those places, those names. So maybe it's time I try to make sense of all of it. There was Casey, the voice on the broken tape, still broadcasting after she was gone. The storm drain beneath exit 17, with crayon drawings and tally marks carved into the wall. Lila and June, two kids who didn't speak, but still had something to say. Deerhaven, where Anna and Miriam vanished without a trace. 1 minute a motel room, the next, silence. Dead letters in a forgotten post office. Words written by people who never saw the end coming. And one letter addressed to me. The fire tower, map marked with red circles. Relay sites, old signals. And something called the vault. And now this tape. All of it. Stacked on top of each other like clues from a puzzle no one asked to solve. I used to think it was just noise. Broken pieces scattered across a ruined world. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe something's been trying to get our attention. Or maybe something's been watching to make sure we don't. I'm going to find the vault, whatever it is, whoever's guarding it. If it's a safe place, I'll say it. If it's a trap, I'll warn you. But you'll hear about it first. This is Doomcast. Still here. Still breathing.
Stop following me.